Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Travel with Terri podcast, featuring Terri Guthrie, a Dallas, Texas-based travel journalist who loves to talk about luxury family vacations, regional food and culture, national parks, historic attractions, and so much more. Everybody, welcome to the very first episode of Travel with Terri. It's a travel podcast, obviously, here on Big Blend Radio, starting every fourth Monday at 6 p.m. Central Time. And you can go to travelwithterri.net to learn more about Terri. And that's actually what we're going to get to do today, is get to know more about Terri. Terri has been on a few of our Big Blend radio shows, and then we just started talking and saying, you know, you better have like a regular spot here on Big Blend Radio. And that's what we're doing. And by the way, Terri is Terri. She is based out of Texas, Dallas, Texas area. And we're going to talk a little bit about Texas because she does cover a lot of travel in Texas. But we're going to get a little travel writer insider scoop from her about how she became a travel writer, why, where she wants to go, where she hasn't been, and where she has been. She's been around the block, right? You've been around the block.
A few times. Yes,
A
I
few
have.
times. Well, welcome back to Big Blend Radio, but this is exciting. It's your first official episode of
I'm so
Travel
excited.
with
Thank
Terri.
you.
This is going to be so much fun because you do go all over. I know you travel a lot through Texas, a lot in Oklahoma, but then you travel the world because you just came back from Turkey. How do I pronounce it?
Or Turkey.
Turkey.
Yeah.
Turkey
Yes,
is now Turkey.
Istanbul. Yes.
Not
Beautiful,
Constantinople.
beautiful.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I said not Constantinople. You know that song, Istanbul,
That's
not
right. That's right.
Constantinople.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Istanbul. Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. That's probably one of my favorite places now. We're already thinking about going back.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool. Well, you're going to have to, come back on your own podcast and
Yes,
talk about
yes.
it. Well, I
Yes,
love this.
indeed.
So today we get to know a little bit more about you. I know we're going to talk next month, obviously. Now, next month, you're going to talk about the Calgary Stampede. See,
Yes.
that's
Oh boy.
getting around. Yeah.
Yes. That is
So that
that's
happens.
it's the greatest outdoor show on earth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
And
look
it's
at you
true.
with the hat on. You got, well,
That's
listen, I
right.
know that you're from Mississippi, but you live in Texas and you've really embraced Texas. But I always thought Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas have been like a trifecta of
Yes.
states, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I always have felt like anyone from Louisiana or Texas, I don't know, I feel like we're cousins or we just have a common bond. It's a lot alike, there's a lot of similarities, and I feel like people kind of migrate from one state to the other a lot too.
Yeah.
And so fortunately here in Texas, there are a lot of people here from Mississippi and Louisiana. So I have my homeland people all around me, but totally have embraced Texas and have lived here longer than I ever did in Mississippi, because I
Oh,
have
wow.
been in Texas now for 37 years. And
Okay.
I guess I was just in Mississippi for 21 years. But of course, born and raised, my husband and I both, and that's where all of our families are from. And we
Okay.
still have a boatload of cousins. I have 33 first cousins. I think I've told you that before. I have 33 first cousins, and most of them are in Mississippi.
Wow. Now, have you done the Natchez Trace Parkway?
Oh, yes, all my life. In fact, on Sunday afternoons, we used to go, take that little Sunday afternoon drive and go down the
Oh,
Natchez Parkway. That's my first memory of it, is on a Sunday afternoon drive. It's beautiful.
it is beautiful. I haven't done the whole thing yet. Nancy and I have done parts of it. And actually, this time, not last year was, no, not last year, the year before we were on it. And I
Uh-huh.
just got all, those Facebook memories. I'm like, oh, yeah, in certain areas it flooded and it was cold. We found the first sighting of a Baptist church in Mississippi on our way there. Anyway,
Oh, wow.
the Delta region is beautiful. All of Mississippi is, but it is
Right.
interesting to me. We were talking on the IFTWA, the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association podcast with the board of directors recently. And we were talking about Louisiana and Texas because their next conference is in Lafayette. This is how we
Right.
met you, is through IFTWA.
Yes.
And I was like, well, yeah, we said something about Texas and Louisiana. I said, yeah, well, I know all the Texans go to Louisiana because they got casinos and you can't gamble in Texas. They're like, well, we don't know
Mhm.
about that. I'm like, I do. I do, but
Yeah.
it is kind of true, isn't it? Like that
Yeah.
hop over.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's really crazy. A lot of people don't know this fun fact, even though I'm not a gambler, but just north of Dallas, just 30 miles north, right over the state line into Oklahoma, in Chickasaw country,
Oh
that
yeah.
is where WinStar Casino is, and it is the largest casino in the world.
What?
Fun fact. It's true, and it's amazing.
Okay. Well, listen, I just like to play the little penny machines if they still have them. I haven't been in
Yes.
casino for a while. We just like to play. We just want the bonus round so we can look at the little things, do
Right. Yeah.
things.
They're
That's
always
all we
fun to
want.
go to. And, now most casinos have like fantastic concerts
Oh yeah.
and at WinStar, I know I see their advertisement all the time, of course, here. And I drive by it all the time too on my way to Oklahoma City, but they bring in all the top name, like, musicians and, comedians. I mean, it's something there all the time. So yeah,
And
it's
we're
a
gonna have
fun
to check
place.
that out on our Oklahoma. I know we'll be going there and you go there a lot. So I know you cover that region quite a bit
Right,
too.
right. I do a lot with Chickasaw Country.
So we'll have to do a show on that. Like I know. So everybody,
Yes,
we're gonna have to see about this. So let's
that'll be
talk
a
about
good one.
so you talked about Sunday drives on the Natchez Trace Parkway. This was a tradition many years ago, Sunday supper and a Sunday drive,
Yes,
obviously connected also with church for some. Um, is that part of, did that ever get into your psyche of being, because you were a broadcast journalist first before
right.
travel writer, which is all connected, and you do that on your travels with Ron, your husband, who does the video work and all the tech stuff that you go, I don't want to do that. I want to talk to people,
That is not
you
my
know.
forte.
No, you want to talk and write, but do you think those adventures led you towards travel?
Um, well, yeah, probably so. I mean, I'm always just, somebody says go, it's just like, I'll be the first one to go with them. I'm pretty spontaneous and love to travel, always have. Fortunately, as I was growing up, my parents traveled a good bit. The first thing we did, we had a big camper and we did some epic trips. Like we were gone a month. We went from southern Mississippi up to Banff, and then all the way
Nice.
across to Vancouver Island, then down the whole West Coast, went to Disneyland, which was amazing. And we didn't have
Yeah,
Disney
yeah.
World back then, down into Mexico and then across. So that was my first really big trip. And I just, I saw what all was out there and got to go to a lot of national parks.
Which I know you
Um,
still love to do is national
I
parks.
do. I do. I love our national parks, and I think they're one of our country's greatest treasures.
I
Um,
agree.
but then, as I got older, I actually got to go on several European trips, and then to Hawaii. I went there for my high school graduation, and I just like I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to travel. And I guess it was just a God thing. When I met my husband, I had no idea he would be an airline pilot. So that's just something that kind of happened and fit us both because he loves to travel as well. So we, even when he was flying for Delta, which I would go with him on his layovers all the time, all over the world because he was an international captain. But when we would get home, he's like, "Okay, where are we going next?" So we
Did
we
you
just
guys get
pretty
the
much.
jump seat? You got the jump seat privilege, right? With
Well, not jump seat. No, I just space available, but it's so nice because we could just check into the system and see, what the
he
loads
could
look
jump
like.
seat though. He could jump seat and then,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, he
oh yeah.
could. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, our motto is to keep a suitcase packed and have a bathing suit and some workout clothes and your passport because we don't know where will end up at the end
Do
of the
you have
day.
two sets of toiletries? Does it get that bad? Like you have two sets of
Yes,
toiletries?
we both do. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He has two
Okay.
shaving kits. Yeah, because one just stays, just packed all the time. And
The other one's
that's what
for
I do
home.
too. Yeah. That way you can leave in a hurry. So
And the reality is you can always get clothes when you get to the other side, so who cares?
yes,
But
yes,
your passport is the most important thing.
that's right. I always have my passport with me. Always.
Yeah.
which
That's
sounds kind
cool.
of crazy. And another funny thing about my passport is that I had so many stamps in my passport, it was filling up. And I remember like when I go to Europe sometime, I would have agents ask me, why do you travel so much? And I tell them I'm pretty much just following my husband who's, here with the airlines. But I had to have pages sewn into my passport. I thought I would just get another one, but they're like, no, they just issue them. They're like, no, your passport's still good till I think 2027. So I went to the federal building downtown Dallas and they sewed in like an extra 20 pages in my passport. So my passport, I'll have to show it to you sometime, but it's
Oh
like
my
this
gosh, that's
thick. It's
hysterical.
crazy. Yeah,
That's amazing. I didn't know they did that. That's
I
cool.
didn't either.
So how many countries now do you think you've been to?
Oh, I've counted before. I think I'm up to 42.
Okay. And
And six continents. So
six, oh, you got to get to the seventh. What's the seventh continent for you that you need to get?
Antarctica, yes. So
Antarctica. Okay. All
that's a
right. Are you going to
bucket
do
list for
that?
us both
Yeah.
because yeah, that's pretty exciting. We got to mark off Australia a couple of years ago. And so now just down to Antarctica. So that'll
Okay.
happen probably in the next couple of years.
Now, tell us a little bit about going, you moved from Mississippi, obviously family, right? But then you also studied and became a broadcast journalist. So what was
Yes.
your first, dip of toes into that water? How did that
Right.
happen?
Well, this was in Florida, and something that I always wanted to do, and just it was a great opportunity presented itself, and I interviewed for the job and got it. I started out just as a reporter, and then a couple of years later, became news director. But it was a lot of fun. It was WFTW, Vacation Land Broadcasting in Northwest Florida, Fort Walton Beach, Destin area.
Yeah, where we used to live. Oh my gosh, we probably met each other.
I know. I always thought it was so funny. Our my radio station was on the corner of Hollywood and Vine, but
No
of course
way. Really?
it really was. Yeah. But of course that wasn't California. And I loved it. I mean, I started out by doing the afternoon news through the evening, and my last broadcast was at 7 o'clock. But then it flipped once I became news director, and I did the morning show all the way to the noon news. So I started out at 6 a.m. and I did it, but I have to tell you about kill me because I'm not a morning person. And I was having to get up at 4 a.m. and, get dressed, drive there. And this is before we had computers. So this is, a while back, but I would stop along the way at the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department and the Fort Walton Police Department. And I would have to look through their files real quick to find out if anything like major happened during the night. And then I would be doing my vocal exercises in the car. So if anybody was passing me, they probably thought I was crazy. But yeah, I had to be, alert and perky and ready for my first newscast at 6 a.m.
So was this all radio or TV or radio? Which one was it?
That was all radio. That was all radio. But later on,
Thank goodness, because in the early
yeah.
morning, y'all know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. But I usually was dressed for the day. And of course, I would cover some live things that we would have to go to for different things. And then a lot of the celebrities would come into town. I actually met a lot of people like Bob Hope and the two guys from inside the NFL. And remember Merlin Perkins that from
Okay.
the Wildlife Show. I met him when they opened up the new zoo in Gulf Shores, um, not Gulf Shores, Gulf Breeze, Florida.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
coastal. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, got to meet him. And anyway, so I was always out and about too, like in between broadcasts or um, when I got off work. A lot of times I would go, and interview people. But then when we went on to Arizona, and I worked in community and media relations at a big hospital there, and so I did some TV stuff there as
Okay,
well.
so a
So
little bit of everything here. So
yeah,
you
I've
were in
had my
Arizona too. Where were you
yes.
in Arizona?
That when Is that what you said?
Where,
When?
where, where,
Oh, where?
where?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wow.
So
Okay. Our paths are following each other here in life. This is great. This is
yeah,
great.
we
Hollywood
loved.
and Vine would be for Nancy because she was, she was born in Hollywood. So there you go. That's her
Oh,
place.
wow.
But
Yeah.
I know. So that's crazy. But um, I mean, doing all this kind of broadcasting. So travel writing is kind of it's the same thing. You're talking to people because travel writing used to be so stiff. And
Yes.
it used to be till Anthony Bourdain and Rick Steves and people like that came on board. It was very this is where you go. You're not to talk, not be opinionated, not be warm. And this is what I felt about it. That was a no-no, but I think the world of blogging and it changed. It changed a
Right.
lot.
Yes, yes. And social media has definitely helped with that. And speaking of Rick Steves, I mean, he's one of the people that gives me inspiration. I mean, I have probably watched every one of his travel shows for inspiration so that I can turn around and do the same thing to others, because that's one of the things I do find very gratifying is being to inspire others to get out and travel.
Oh yeah. Well, that's it. Get out and travel and have that the change. When you travel, what do you look for? Do you leave anything up to, okay, whatever happens, happens. Let's be surprised, or do you have specific focuses when you travel that you want to share with readers and listeners
Right.
and viewers? Because you have your YouTube channel too that you do all this too.
Right. I'm more focused now because I am travel writing. And so I probably research things more now than I
Mhm.
used to. I can remember though, when I would go with Ron on layovers, wherever in the world, so many times I did not know what, we were going to do or what was planned or, we just kind of flew by the seat of our pants, and that's fun too.
Yeah,
Most of the time we would walk around the city and a lot of times, just depend on what was open at that time. And which is the best way to explore a city, no doubt, is walking it. And
exactly.
that's a lot of fun. But so anyway, I've done both. Sometimes I research. I know, like, I remember when I went to Iceland a couple of years ago. I knew nothing about Iceland, and so I really researched it because it's such a unique place, and I knew nothing. And I have found out that one thing that's important to me is to kind of get used to some of the terms or the names of different places there, because if they're foreign to you, they mean nothing to you. It
Hmm.
could be a word that's describing, the ghetto, or that same word may be describing like the most palatial restaurant
Yeah,
or hotel or something. So it's good to get familiar with some of the names of the key places that you want to see. That helps a lot, especially in a place like Iceland where, their language is so unfamiliar.
yeah, it is good to get a little bit, and I think it sticks with you once you've been there.
Oh
It's
yeah.
so hard when
Hmm.
you're reading something, you go, okay, I've seen that word, but it doesn't like
It
soak
doesn't
into you until
resonate.
you,
It just
well,
doesn't.
Natchitoches, Louisiana and Nacogdoches, Texas, you're not going to get it right normally until you go there, you
Right,
know.
exactly, exactly. One thing that I do a lot of times, and I remember doing this for that trip when we were going to Iceland, is that as I was packing and I would, or, if I was just like folding clothes or something, I would turn on YouTube and I would just listen to different YouTube
Mhm.
travel videos too. And that kind of helps you get acquainted with the area as well. And I
Well,
actually say I have gotten a lot of good tips of, like little hole in the wall places to go eat, or, you must see this, or, I remember somebody in one of the YouTube videos was talking about, this is like the oldest restaurant in Iceland and it's actually fantastic. And so, we made a point to go there, and it was, one of our favorite places.
well, that's the power of media, right? And someone who's been there letting you know, then you let your audience know. And I think, what I've learned from podcasting, which we started in print magazines, way back
Yes.
when. So just like, copy and paste and all of that. And we moved into, online media, and we were pre-Google with our websites. We're ancient, y'all. We're ancient. We've got cracks in our faces, and other places, but we won't talk about that. But anyway, we had to go through this whole change, and it's always changing, social media, all of that. But the podcasting thing, I mean, I remember videos and you couldn't get the sound and the videos to match. I mean, way back when it was to make travel videos, and now with YouTube and all of that, it's, so much, it's there. People can do it.
Right.
But podcasts, what I've learned is people, yes, they listen on their way. Like if they're going to Sequoias National Park, we have a
Hmm.
podcast on that. They'll sit and listen in the car on their way. And it's pretty
Yes.
amazing.
Right. That's a great thing to do too when you're traveling and you have a long car trip. I know
Or
my
a
daughters
lot
are
of
always telling
flights.
me
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
And my one daughter that has four kids, she just loves to, when they're taking naps or at school or whatever, she loves to just listen to a podcast, listen to some travel podcast, and while she's getting dressed, and it's kind of like her go-to thing to do as she's getting
Yeah.
dressed. And I think she finds it relaxing as well, and it tunes everybody out.
It's inspiring. Yeah, when we travel, we listen to a lot of podcasts, and we'll like take a break somewhere. We're like, oh, let's listen to a podcast. It's of all things. One artist I know went to Alice Lee's. Shout out to Alice, because Texas, right? She's a Texas rancher. Got to bring that. See, this is
Yeah.
all fitting in.
Uh-huh.
She's an amazing oil painter. Oh my gosh, Alice Elise, everyone. Her family has a cattle ranch in Wink, Texas.
Oh,
Now, Wink, if you wink, you've passed.
oh,
Tex,
okay.
you've passed it, right? It's that small of a town.
That's where it got
And
its
we keep
name.
threatening to go and see them. We've talked about this for years, and it still hasn't happened yet. But they have an old school ranch where they don't even use ATVs to round their cattle. They're on horseback. They do it all. Like it's amazing. And she is an artist in residence in national park units around Hawaii volcanoes. Her and her husband did dry tortugas on their own island through the National Parks Arts Foundation one year. And you have to go through FEMA training for hurricanes and all of that, but you are on your own on this island that is not connected to the rest of the universe. You're in, it's a solar powered, you take your food in for the month by boat, and you are there. And then she's to create and paint. And he ended up doing a lot of work on the actual little island for it's a research station for the turtles.
Hmm.
And she's like, so Lisa, I took over 200 and something of your podcasts with me, and that's what I listened to. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, don't tell me that. Not kidding. you
Oh,
know?
wow. I'll have to
But
look
she
her up.
started,
That sounds
yeah, she's
interesting.
really cool. But she's like, no, we sat and listened to like, I'm going like, how many podcasts have we done even? But she sat and listened to it. I'm like, that's crazy. But she sat out there in the middle of like the island, not a desert island, a tropical island, listening to Big
Hmm.
Blend Radio, because there's something where it keeps you connected to everything. Podcast
Right.
is a story, and that's what I'm excited about you doing this, and all the travel writers on our shows, because you're bringing in something. It's like new. Hey, oh my gosh. Because when you go somewhere, don't you want to bang the pots and pans at the top of the mountain, say, y'all,
Oh, yeah.
get your butt skis there?
Exactly. There is so much to discover on this earth, but every city, I don't care if it's, 30 minutes from Dallas or if it's over in Africa, every little town, every city has a story and has something interesting. And certainly
Even Wink.
the culture is different in all these different places. The food is different. And I love talking to locals and everywhere we go. I love trying the local food, which gets adventurous. It definitely did in Iceland, I have to tell you. But that's
What did you
that's
eat in
my motto,
Iceland?
is that find out what is the story here. How did this place,
Mm.
get started, and what keeps it ticking?
Okay, Wink has a claim to fame, and there's a museum there. And guess who it's dedicated to? It is the house and home of one of my favorite musicians of all time, Roy Orbison.
Oh, really? Yes, I love
Yes, I
his
gotta
music
go. I
too.
gotta go. That guy's
Yeah.
got the most
Oh, that's
amazing,
interesting.
one of the best
Yeah.
singers, I think, vocalists of all time. That's
Right.
just my
Yeah, he's
personal
one of the
opinion, but
classics.
like, Oh, come on. Yeah.
But
But so
see, just
you went,
something as
th-
small as wink. I mean,
that's,
I'm telling you, there's
yeah.
something, everywhere. And
So what
that's,
did you eat in Iceland? I want to know. What did you eat?
well, I couldn't eat it because it stunk so bad. But they have this fermented
Oh,
shark.
oh, fermented shark. So it's like in Scandinavia when they do lutefisk.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But it was just,
Stinky.
I have a really,
Did
really,
Ron eat it?
he did, he tried it, but I just couldn't do it.
Well,
I
between the two
usually
of you,
do.
one of you did it, so that's important.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
that's right.
you,
But I did eat some of their other things, but
you
that
know
may be
what they
the only
say.
thing that I've just never could just I just couldn't do it.
He
Yeah.
who smelt it dealt it.
Everybody, I mean, they even talk about it. I mean, they even say it is about as stinky as it gets. And I'm just like, if it's something
Mm-mm.
that stinky, it's not going in my mouth.
It's not
So,
going. You know, she's
yeah, it
like,
just
there's
was
a
very
line.
and appetizing, but hey, might have gotten them through some cold winters or something. I don't
Well,
know.
you learned about it and the fact
Yeah.
that Ron did it, so one of you did. So
Yeah,
you got a team effort here. I love that.
that's right. Yeah.
Team effort is good. And it's good because you've got a male perspective as well as when you're traveling too. So it's two different people's perspectives
Oh,
when you
yeah.
go somewhere.
Mhm.
So when you're traveling, I know he does all of the camera work and everything. Does he drag you to places that you're like, I'm not sure, and vice versa?
Yes, and you know what? Every time I go to a place that he wants to go to that would not be on the top of my list, I always enjoy it and always learn something. I'm thinking about all the military
Oh,
aviation
the
museums, for
aviation. Yeah.
example.
And everyone, y'all, okay. So I'm going to put a link in the episode notes for everyone to listen to an interview with Ron and Terri. And Ron talks about his career. We were doing an aviation history special as a fighter pilot. And so we're going to hear that. And also Terri's background of being, the military mom too. So that's part of
Yeah.
it. So you get to see that. So he takes you to the military. What do you make him do? Do you take him shopping?
Yes, and he's not a shopper. He does not like shopping, but yes, I remember one time I took him to a Princess Diana exhibit, and he probably wouldn't have ordinarily gone to that, but I think he enjoyed it as well. And remember also, I
Oh,
mean, he
she's
always,
iconic though, man.
oh, I know, I know.
She did so much that I think yeah. She died on my birthday. Not
Oh,
my
that's
birth
sad.
date, but like
Yeah,
the day.
yeah,
And that was like, whoa, because she made the royal family human, if you know what I
right.
mean.
And I am a royal family fan,
You
and
are? Have
so,
you been to London?
many
Oh,
times, yes. And Kensington
that's a
Palace.
dumb question.
Our hotel that we stay at in London is just 2 blocks from Kensington Palace where they lived. So, and they have they have so many great things all around London. But Kensington Palace is the main place. In fact, one time I went to Kensington Palace and I'm trying to think. Yeah, we had our daughter Cody with us this time, and we were walking around Hyde Park, which is right there. And lo and behold, I'm seeing Prince Harry jogging towards me, but I just can't even process it. And Cody looks at me and she goes, "Mother, oh my gosh, that's Prince Harry!" And what really got our attention too is that as he's running, he has bodyguards on either side of him,
Oh, wow, yeah.
and he's pretty tall and with his red hair and everything. And girl, I was sick. I did not have my camera in my hand. I remember I was fumbling in my purse trying to get my camera out, and he's
I
passed.
know, then you miss the whole thing.
Yeah,
Like sometimes you
I
just have to
know,
take all the glory in,
I
sometimes
know.
depending on what it is. That's the thing, when you travel, sometimes you have to be on it, on it, on it. And when you're on it, you're actually missing the moment. So
Right?
there's
Yeah,
always that balance. Do you find that where it's like, yeah, I should just take one more glimpse at him because I'm not going to see it again. If I don't get the
right.
photo, take a good look and remember it and write about it or, report about it. Right. So
Yeah.
it's that weird, like that's why I feel like filming wildlife. Sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh my gosh, look how beautiful this bird or this hawk is flying. And then I'm like, darn it. Like I'm sitting there with my camera right there in my hands and I'm just like in awe.
Oh, I
And
know.
it's
I
okay. And
know.
then you just need to document it somehow and not
I
forget it.
know. I find myself maybe not enjoying the moment as much because in my head, I'm like, I've got to photograph this. I've got to video it or photograph it because I want to capture it. that moment. That's something that my husband and I have discussions about a lot, especially during sunsets.
Yeah. Well, do you write? Yeah, the photos are really the biggest tool for us travel writers. I mean, back in the day, I mean, with film, you couldn't just go, let me snap away. But now we can look at them just as documentation, not necessarily for the best photo, but
Right,
for, yeah.
right, yeah, and that's one of the things that takes a big chunk of my time actually is editing photos. And because
Mm.
I take a lot and Ron does too, and combining them together, he doesn't edit. I do all the editing, and I probably spend more time editing my photos than I do anything else.
Wow. So where do people read your stories the most?
Well, so I write monthly for several publications here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Cross Timbers Gazette, which is a real easy one to get to by just Googling it, Cross Timbers Gazette, Travel
Hmm.
with Terry. And actually, I just had an article come out this past week, and it's on Buffalo, not Buffalo. I have another one on Buffalo I'll tell you about. It's on Niagara Falls, Canada.
Oh
But
yeah.
my article is about all the romantic things you can do there because it's like one of the romantic capitals of the world.
Oh.
And a fun side note, my parents had their honeymoon there. And so
Oh.
I always wanted to go there. That was a bucket list and went there in September. And oh my gosh, I love, love, love that place. I can't wait to go back. And I cannot recommend it enough. And this was the side that we toured and stayed at was on the Canadian side and just had such a lovely time. Highly recommend it.
Oh.
Anyway, that article just came out. So that's the first one. I think I have um, it tells how many articles I have with them, but I think I might have 65 articles
Wow.
just with them. And
Well
then
published. Yeah.
with Murray Media Lifestyles magazine, they have about 10 different lifestyle magazines that reach different neighborhoods and communities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And again, I've been writing for them for years. And I have the same, it's the same article, but it goes out to all the different lifestyle
Okay.
magazines. Yeah.
Right.
So I write for
And
them
this is
monthly.
print? Is this print or all
Uh,
online as well?
Both. Hmm.
Okay, great.
And
Great.
Cross Timbers Gazette is both print and online. And then Stroll magazine is another lifestyle magazine that, hits the communities and neighborhoods and stuff. And I've been writing for them for a long time as well. And they're strictly print. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But free magazines that are mailed to all the homes, in the area. And so, and then I have written for two different travel websites, which is Life's Incredible Journey, and that's a website out of Vancouver, Canada. And then Family Travel with Colleen Kelly, that's out of Chicago. And then today, actually, I don't think I even told you this, my first article came out in Food, Wine, and Travel magazine.
Oh, from the IFTWA, the International Food Wine Travel Writers. And you've been on Blend Radio and
Yes,
TV.com too,
ma'am.
National
Yes,
Park Traveling.
several
You've been
times with
on some
you.
of our shows and yeah, I'm excited about this. So now it's like you've got radio, you got video on YouTube that you do, like broadcast video, like not just, you're out there talking and showing, show and
Hmm.
tell. And then you got print, you've got online, and now podcasting. You've got the whole thing.
I know, it
She's
kind
a
of rounds it
media
all
mogul.
out. So thank
She's
you
a
for this
media
opportunity.
mogul. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm excited
Thank
about
you.
this. Now, we did a Q&A with you, and everyone, the link is in the episode notes. Check this out. It's up on blendradioandtv.com. We love to get the inside scoop on everyone. It's pretty much like
Yeah.
what we've been talking about.
Uh-huh.
So check the link in the episode notes, but we always want to hear, you know, what are some of the challenges? What are some of the advice tips, depending on the career? It could be a lawyer, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And but I always like to ask, if you were going to have a dinner party, you could invite anyone, three people, in the past and present. You had family in there, and the one was the unsinkable Molly Brown. Now we've had the her house. There's a museum in Denver. We had them on
Yes.
one of our first podcasts, and I think the first year we started podcasting,
Oh,
first or
really?
second
Yes.
year, and we've been doing this 18 years. So yes, and I couldn't believe, I was like, someone knows who I'm talking about. I love that. So what attracts you to Molly Brown? She didn't sink in the Titanic. Yeah.
Well, of course, in the show, the Titanic, that Kathy Bates plays her, and Kathy Bates lives in this area. Yeah,
Oh, I love Kathy Bates,
I love
especially in
Kathy Bates.
Misery still wins.
Oh
But
my
anyway,
gosh, that's the scariest, most suspenseful movie ever. But yeah, she actually I know someone here that does her hair. So she lives in the area.
cool.
So yeah, we have a lot of celebrities around here. But I just love Kathy Bates, and I thought she did such a great job. But I love the character that she played, and even though she didn't have old money, she was kind of um, I don't know, she wasn't in the inner circle of the people that had the old money because she had new money, is what I meant to say, because of, her money came from the
Yeah.
mining in Colorado. But I just loved her like grit and just common sense.
Tenacity.
And yeah, and she was very good at just, speaking the obvious. And I know that there was a lot of, it's truth and documented about how, she was trying to get people to go help people
Hmm.
there when the Titanic had sank that were still in the wreckage and debris
Hmm.
around the ship. And, there was a lot of people just being
They were
really
done. Yeah.
um, just falling apart, and she was, hey, be a man, stop this, quit being a coward, step up. We're not going to die. We're going to live. We have calm waters here. We can
Yeah.
make it. We can make it, but you
Snap
got to
out of
get
it.
yourself together. And
Yeah.
I think she just kind of became the spokesperson for so many of the people that were in the lifeboats and was kind of like the cheerleader,
I
you know.
think she even steered one. I think she was like running a lifeboat, you
Yeah,
know.
I think she was. Yeah, yeah. But she was, I know that she told one man that was just kept on crying and carrying on. And I know it's a very traumatic time, but she's like, and he kept on saying a lot of negative things. And she was like, keep those thoughts to yourself. Only say positive things. We've got
Yeah.
to think positive if we're going to survive this.
And
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 I
that's so
just love her
true.
spirit.
Yeah, it's a true thing. I mean, and she was amazing, and she was a good philanthropist too.
Yes, yeah,
She
yeah,
gave a
she
lot,
absolutely
you know.
was.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I love the title, The Unsinkable Molly Brown. I mean,
Hmm.
that is awesome. I love that. When I saw that, I was like, that's the first time anyone has brought that up on a show. We've used that question on so many different things because you want to learn from someone, and sit down and
Right,
learn or
right.
reminisce or, somebody like you were telling a lot of your family, if you've never really gotten to meet them, you want to meet them, if you haven't had that opportunity, especially as adults. A lot of
Yes,
our
yeah.
family we met when we were kids, but as an adult, we didn't get to have that adult time of
Right. And I
knowledge.
just loved her character too. Even though she's a very wealthy woman, she wasn't arrogant. She still was very approachable and just had such good common sense about her and then did so much good in her lifetime. So there's
Mm.
just a lot to admire about her.
Now, do you find women's history as you travel? Do you like kind of seek it out a little bit to see? Because you've got Lady Diana here, you've
Yeah,
got, I'm just kind of
I do.
sensing a little thing going here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I love that, of course. And yeah, in the Finger Lakes area, there was a lot of Harriet Tubman, and
Mm.
I loved that movie of her. And in fact, I did not realize it, but the actress that is up for an Oscar and everything, Cynthia, I can't remember her last name. She's a fantastic girl from Wicked. She's just has this
Okay.
amazing voice and
Hmm.
everything, but she actually played Harriet Tubman. I
Oh,
just
wow.
realized that yesterday, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that was her." But anything like that, yes, because I think, women, we've had a lot of challenges throughout the years. And one thing that I'm really looking forward to, I have to tell you about one of my trips that's coming up in May, is that we're going to be in Indiana, and I'm probably going to butcher the name, but I think it's called Shipshawana or something like that. But it's Amish country, and I've always wanted to do that. And one of my trips there that I am so excited about, one of my day trips is going to be, I'm going to get to hang out with an Amish woman at her home and just like a day in the life of an Amish woman. And
Well,
I
you're
can't
going to
wait.
get
I
to
just think
work.
it's
They're
going to
going
be
to
so
put you to
exciting.
work.
Yeah,
They're going to put you to
I'm
work.
sure I'm probably going to have to be there at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna milk a cow. Like, no, get out there. But but I love that because that's the thing too when you're traveling is to do things. If you can
Yes.
experience a culture, not just look
Hmm.
like, sometimes we as travelers start to look at other cultures and people like we're looking at animals in a zoo. And we shouldn't do that with animals too. I mean, animals should have their wild spirit as much as possible, but we tend to do that with people instead of getting to know them. And if you can do something traditional, learn about traditions, different, celebrations, foods,
Hmm.
that's cool that you're going to spend a day. That's going to be,
I just can't wait.
oh, we're going to have a good podcast.
I have wanted to go to the Amish country all my life. I've always been fascinated with
Well,
that.
I'm now I'm going into Indiana. I'm like, we've been all through Indiana now. We missed
Mhm.
something.
Right. I can send you the information on it. But yeah, I'm going there in May. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Where's next? What's the next destination?
Um, Well, actually, Oklahoma City. I'm going to the opening of Okana, that new fantastic resort that's being opened up in Oklahoma City. That's massive. I'm not really prepared to talk a lot about it, but it's there. It's owned by the Chickasaw, so it's in Chickasaw country, which is in Oklahoma City. But this is going to be a family resort, no gaming, and it's first class all the way. It's 450 rooms, as lagoon, beaches, indoor and outdoor water parks, and all these restaurants. And it also has an adult only area and pool. Um,
Mm.
but anyway,
See, I
it's
know this is something like
fantastic.
you like to do luxury. Because
Yes.
come on, we don't need to go camping anymore, right? Do we? Like I love to camp, but like I want the
Yeah, but
glamping now.
we
We
have a
want
motor
glamping.
home. Yeah.
We want glamping. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It's like I do actually need to get some sleep at some point,
Right.
and I want to go potty in a potty place. But
Right.
anyway,
Yeah. Not in
yeah, yeah. But so getting to that, you tend to go for luxury, but with family experiences because
right.
you got kids and grandkids that you hang
Yes.
out with a lot.
Yes, we do. And we love to travel with them. Last year, as you know, we did a podcast on Camp Creek Inn down in Florida.
Oh, with the
We got to
frogs.
take,
I still can't get over the frogs that all your
oh yeah,
grandkids were playing with out on the
I
grounds.
know.
It's a
The highlight
luxury
of the
resort.
trip were the frogs.
And they have a candy room. Listen, the snack room.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. The
I didn't
treat
mean
suite
to. I
is what
I
they
didn't
called it.
mean to interrupt, but I would like the candy room, and apparently I did that too much this winter. But I want the candy room.
Right. That's just one of, our great trips. Actually the boys are getting to go with me to the grand opening since they live in Oklahoma City. And I'm super excited about going to Okana and learning more about it. And we'll definitely be sharing it on a podcast soon. But that is the next trip. And then I have the trip in Corpus Christi coming up, which I'm very excited about, to the Birdiest Festival. This is, one of the largest migration areas in the world is Corpus Christi, Texas.
Mm,
And of course, they have so much more there, but that's just one thing that's a big deal there in April. And also I have Pensacola,
beautiful.
Florida lined up.
My
And
old hometown too.
yeah, love that. And it's going to be a little bit different. I'll talk and I'll, write a little bit about the beautiful beaches they have there, but I'm really going to focus on the historical aspect of Pensacola.
Well, I hope you go to the Seville Quarter.
Oh, I'm sure I
So
will.
I remember this was about 30 years ago, 29, 30 years ago when I lived there. And I mean, there was a different bar in every room. Like it's this huge old, building, historic building. And you
Uh-huh.
could just go from one bar to the other. And each one had a different theme, and different kind of music to go with it. And
Right.
that's my thing. I want to go to the music. And they even had like a garden, like a plaza in the middle kind of thing. So I
Right.
mean, this was a long time ago. So you got to report back. You got things to do, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Well, that's one thing I love about Pensacola, and I have been there, many times and always have loved it. And that maybe the first vacation I went on as a child, as I remember with my parents, was to Pensacola. But it's not, you have the beach and you love all that, but it has so much more with
The
all the
history is in
history there,
deep.
and then the naval base there and all the military
Hmm.
stuff. So that's fun. I love laying on the beaches there and just watching all the, military
Beautiful
jets flying
sand.
over. It's like a show.
Yeah,
You've
it's
got like an air show going on when you're, out
just
there.
chilling out. Yeah, chilling out on
all
the beach.
all over Northwest Florida. Of course, that it was really bizarre when we lived down there when Ron was a fighter pilot, because I'd be on the beach and see these F-15s fly over, and always wonder, wow, I wonder if that's Ron, because
Yeah, really.
he would be doing that, of course. Um, but yeah, that'll be fun, and I'm excited. I'm going to Charleston, South Carolina. So I'm hitting some
Awesome.
great southern cities and areas. And then super excited about this as well, because I've never been, and that's going to be to Quebec City,
Oh,
Quebec.
wonderful. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You're gonna
which
have
is
to
the
learn
most
French.
French city
Yep.
outside of France.
Yep. You're gonna have a good time. Quebec is cool looking. Have not been there, but it's yeah, this could be a busy year, y'all. Terry's
Oh yeah,
gonna take care of you on travels across the country, around the world, and through the South and
and
all
that's just
around.
until July.
Oh boy, oh boy. I don't know how we're gonna record this podcast, Terry. Well, she may
We're
be
going to need
recording
to do
from
one a
different.
week.
I know we might have to be doing this from different locations. So hey,
Yes.
we're always in a different place, and so will you. So I love this. Everyone, again, Travel with Terri, a Big Blend Radio podcast, is going to be airing new episodes. You can listen as they air or anytime after. The fourth Monday at 6 p.m. Central Time. So check it out at bigblendradio.com. Keep up with her at travelwithterri.net. And from there, you can connect through to all of her social media like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all those things. But this is going to be so much fun. And we can't wait. So thank you so much, Terri. And again, everyone, the links are in the episode notes for her Q&A. We get deep, dark, and down. No, we don't.
Yeah.
It's a fun conversation, especially if you're looking at becoming a travel writer. I'd say take a look
Right.
at her
Yeah.
Q&A. And thank you so much. This was fun.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I always enjoy this and sharing, and hope to inspire others to travel. That's my goal, and just enjoy it, because it's just such a gift to get to travel.
It really is. It really is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Travel with Terri podcast. New episodes air every fourth Monday at 6 p.m. Central Time. You can follow Terri's adventures at travelwithterri.net, and that's Terri with an I, not a Y. Follow us here at bigblendradio.com. Happy travels!